All right, we are back. Rocco's back. He's stopped selling stocks, and you know what else is back? Markets to an extent. All right, so let's see what happened today. It's Friday, July 26th, excuse me, 2024. Going to maybe be a little bit of a longer show today. I want to also recap the week and winning trades of the past year. No repeat in charts though. So let's share our screen and see what happened today. What really moved markets today is pretty interesting. This smells of rotation. Everything that we've said here didn't catch me off guard. None of it. We said all about the S&P should be oscillating around 550. And then if you get a little bit of an aggressive flush, it can go towards 540 or so. We basically did that this week. It got a little ugly 2 days ago. We traded as low as 537, but we'll look at the charts. Today specifically, India, really a mover, up 2%, the nation. Okay, value, they swarmed into value today, up 1.33%. And the Dow Jones, I'm sure you saw today, the Dow soars, over 700 points. It's because a lot of that construct is value and industrials that ran as well. And then the UK had also a good day. Oil and volatility was the exit though. Oil was down 1.7%. The commodities basket was down 0.5%, and volatility down 5.5%. So we had that huge surge 2 days ago. I said, this looks a little bit overdone. It's going to give way, and we'll check. But I think we were actually below or just about even of where we were before that spike. So we'll see, and then we'll look at the best trades of the week. If you were long ARKG, massive week for it. I mean, considering it's actually the best returner this week, up 7%. I'm glad I got out of that put 2 weeks ago, and this is exactly why, because I knew that dollars were going to flee into other assets, and you're going to see rotation is happening. We are going higher. If you're along the Qs, mega cap tech, the top 50, you will have gains the rest of the year, but it's very likely that small caps outperform you, and that's okay because you're sitting on plus 15% or so year to date with SPY. So we'll take a look at all that. And then the best trades of the year, they are still Bitcoin, semiconductors, short nat gas. That doesn't change. So everything is here on the sheet. All right. Without further ado, let's go to some charts. Friday, actually great weather this weekend. I'm looking forward to it. All right, let's do the screen share on the spot. So here's an intraday chart. We had a high at 1 o'clock, held VWAP pretty much throughout the day. Here started to tangle with it towards the end. VWAP or volume weighted average price was 544.23. We closed above it, up 1%. Like I said, vol got hit pretty hard. Not going to go into the single stock performers, but Meta really did help. XLC, communications, ETF, very much so. Google was flat, so it was all Meta doing the heavy lifting. I think there was positive comments out of Zuck on like WhatsApp downloads or something, or a number of people on there. Okay, so SPY, what are we saying? Strictly, as I said before, a big believer in 15 to 18 day cycles. Said all along after we topped here, and it's not just calculated just from the top. You'd be surprised. It's actually calculated off of momentum, so I do it not just with the price high. I actually do it combined with the relative strength high. So it's a different kind of an entry in terms of the dating. All that being said, I said we are expecting distribution instead of accumulation through August 1st. I haven't changed my tone on that. And then the S&P should be oscillating around 550. What does that mean? I think you're going to get a percent move higher, but just because it's a little bit overdone here to the downside, I think the markets are going to be proven to be a little bit stronger than this. I think it's going to recoup its 50 RSI on the 14-day, which would be a matter of strength, and that'll probably happen right around that 550 to 553 level. Again, for the next week, I see us staying somewhere around here, and then the bullishness would be through the end of August when I see new potential all-time highs for the S&P. So had a friend, text and say, oh, did you sell here, the downtick yesterday when things are ugly at 537? Absolutely not. And I actually bought some more stock here, which I'm last week, and I'm essentially flat on it or down 0.5%. So it's still up, XLG mega cap tech for the year. So nothing wrong with that. I will see. I think NASDAQ gets the bid first before the broader market. IWM I would expect to mean revert just a bit because that's really ran quite a bit. All right. So that was on the SPY, the broader market. Really don't have much to add. let's go into what moved today and why we are looking at it. So India, a multiple sigma move today, a big move up 1.9%. Pretty fascinating. This looks like I would love to get an entry in this around 56. This is a slow mover. Like that's why today was a big move up a whole dollar. But I would love if you can enter this around 56 even. And then the projection would be, or the target rather, would be around 57.5 or this upper band. It's a slower mover. So a big surge here. Congrats if you're in it. Next, cows. And look, also, when we go through these charts, this is emblematic of a rotation. You'll see, not that India is a loser, just going from zero to hero. This thing hit new 52-week highs a week and a half ago. So, but you'll see before there's a mode to these charts saying, this is extended, this should be mean reverting low, etc., or this is overdone, this should be bouncing up, so on and so forth. So we'll try to be cognizant of that. So India, I would say this is in accumulation mode. This is going higher. You'll see interesting tickers today that had multiple sigma moves. So the cows ETF, or cash cows, this one's a weird index. It kind of sort of correlates with the IWM. Another one does better, but we'll take a look. So this specific one topped in April. This thing's just ran a little bit too much for me, like I said, resembling the IWM to an extent. But this thing just went from 53 to 57 in 2 weeks. It typically doesn't move like that. I see this just getting distributed a little bit, mean reverting a little bit lower to about 55.5. So about $2. It surged today, but I see this going lower. I wouldn't want to up, and load up the boat on this right now. VTV or value, new 52-week highs last week, a strong day today, up 1.25%. This move has just ran a little bit too much. Similar thing to what I was saying on the chart before. This should be mean reverting to 164 over the next 2 weeks or so. So just a $3 reduction, basically a give back of about 1.5% or so. The Dow Jones, what a lot of people follow. The broader index, obviously this is a weird weighting because they do it price weighted. So United Health is massive in this, as is Goldman. So it's a little bit weird weighting, but still a very good harbinger, and a symbol of the overall market and the, to an extent, the economy, because it's not super in bed with tech as the Qs are. So not a bad thing to look at at all. New 52-week highs for this on the 18th. The price was $414. This is crazy. I think you might get, this was a very strong day today. It's not typically up $6. But this looks like it wants to spend a little bit of time, I would say around 400. I would say this is just a little bit rich. So I wouldn't be shocked if you get a 1% reduction in this over the next week or so before it chugs higher. But that's like nitpicking moves. Overall, I do think this goes higher towards 408. So not a ton of upside. And that kind of explains that move where I think it can have a little flush, as when I say flush, 1% lower before moving higher. Obviously, a big day like this can kind of complicate things. And then a big mover, obviously the Olympics start today. France was up big. The UK is up a big today. Excuse me, up 1.4. I did see British Tobacco, American up big today, as like I said, rotation of dollars into different areas. This was a superstar. I remember playing this May 20th. This hit its 52-week high. Let me take a look at this here and what we're seeing. This is actually like really similar to the Dow chart in a way, in that I mean it by saying that it hit the upper band. I see maybe a flush going down towards 35.5. So basically a give back specifically of today, or 1.5% lower before trying to go higher. But I do like this to about 36.25. So a little bit more than here. So just a little bit tight of a mover. This stuff doesn't move, amazingly, but nice rising 200-day moving average. Not bad. Essentially has been basing since, early June. So interesting. All right. The down moves. You have a Dow that was up, 1.5% today. What was down? They exited the commodity trade a little bit. So here's the basket, and you'll see what I'm talking about. The commodities basket is here. So this looks ugly. I think this is a little bit overdone. I don't want to say I want to march and get long here, but this looks a little overdone. I see nice support calculated at 1365, but you always have to see, what it's done. The 1365 level, for a couple of reasons, that was the support going back all the way to St. Patrick's Day, to mid-March. It was good 4 months of support, but now it's, truly breaking down. All that being said, I see it trying to move towards, I think this will move to 1375, not amazing, to a 1385 over the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I think you'll get a bid in commodity over the next 2 to 3 weeks, but definitely doesn't look great. I'm not going to chase it. Oil was particularly the reason they exited, or they sold oil today down 1.7%. Let's see what our call is for this. So probably very similar. Yes. Oil, specifically the USO, has good support at 76, where it is here. The 200-day moving average is at 74 double or 74.55. I think this is probably not a horrendous trade. I think this goes to 79, 78, 70, right around there. So I'm going to put my cursor like right around there. So not a bad trade. I'm not long oil. The momentum is still not with it today, obviously, but it's holding the 200-day as it has since June 10th. This looks okay. This topped back in April, so it's not like it's getting the most adventurous of investor dollars, but there's such a rotation, and I don't know if people are under positioned, you could see them flock to this. Might be good for a 3% pop over the next 2 to 3 weeks. Volatility, let's take a look. Volatility really got hammered today. Let's see if the charts adjusted from our data provider. Hopefully they have. Obviously they did, because it's been at least 2 days. I would cancel them if they didn't. So volatility hit a 52-week low July 12th. Okay, today it was down 5 and almost 6%, so pretty big. Let me zoom in to tell you what I mean. So when we got that surge, so this was the big surge when we went, this is adjusted for split. It went from 45 to 50, okay? That big 10%, it was actually 11% that popped that day on the 24th, 2 days ago. So you want to see it get back to, let's say the low there was at 45. Today we're at 46.80. You get a couple more moves like this in the Dow, this is going to go beneath that. So all that being said, I do see volatility going lower. I see this. I'm not going to straight out call for new 52-week lows, but there's definitely in the market. It doesn't have to do what I say, but think about everything that's happened in the past week and a half. Biden drops out, Trump gets shot in the ear, all this stuff, a new Democratic nominee, and no even voted for, no primary. And what happens? Vol is, it's we hit a low on July 12th. That was the day before the assassination attempt. And while you think this is an up regime, today was a big deal, in my opinion, down this 5.5%. After obviously the Fed's favorite gauge showed that inflation is slowing down 2.5% year over year, lining up for a rate cut. I don't think you get it next week. I do think you get it in September, 25 or 50, probably 25. 50 would spook some folks. So yeah, I see volatility going lower, specifically where? Probably towards 43 to 42, which would be a 10% reduction. That would be a big lift for the markets. And then last one, multiple sigma move. You'd be surprised. I think this had to be earnings related. There were some crazy med moves today. This is specifically the medical devices, but I think I saw Dexcom that does stuff with diabetes, and insulin was down 40%. There's some major cap medical names moving lower today. So this basket is down 1.5% today. Let's take a look. This thing's been range bound and just boring since it topped in March. But my God, this is ironic, or not ironic, but interesting. We say you always want to be an astute trader. This is interesting because it's conflicting with a couple things. So the 200-day moving average is 54.12. That is your support. 54.12 also takes you all the way back to January. So basically it's the year-to-date support. And now it's starting to get a lift. Ultimately, I would say the easy trade is to buy the breakout. To see this trade, you can set up alert. If it trades over 57.5, you buy it. All that being said, I think this wants to be distributed. I don't think this is an area of the market you want to swarm to right now. And I see this going a little bit lower to about 53.90 over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We've seen several assets get very cute and get close to the 200-day moving average and then go higher. I think that's what you see with this. I think it breaks the 200-day moving average over the next 2 to 3 weeks or so, and then mean reverts. This thing looks tethered to 56 even. So that's my call on that. All right, top 5 gainers the past 5 days, no repeats. ARKG, the absolute best long in the market. Rocco wants to jump off my lap. I don't think he likes this ticker. So ARKG, the best performance this week. This is a loser, okay? Look at this. It's getting right through the 200 moving average. I think we called this out when I exited my put spread on this, and I said if it gets to here, I want to get out. Things that are changing, as I just talked about, Fed cuts, is that it makes pre-revenue firms like this that invest in biotechs way in the future for revenue more attractive because they can obviously refinance, they can borrow at lower rates, they can hire, so on and so forth. So all that being said, it's you could have basically a spoof, as it were, like when we were getting more comfortable with the rate story in the spring, February to March. This thing broke above its 200-day for about, I'll look right here. It did it February 12th and then finally broke down March 11th. There's something magical about that 30-day mark where it's like kind of a pretender, and then after that it bucks, and then it shows its true color. So I think this is, I don't want to say done. I do think this goes lower. I think this has a date with 25.40. 25.40, you get almost $2. Not a bad option trade. I rolled my IWM put spread, so I need some sort of a short. I don't want to do this because I think it could spoof, but don't be surprised if this breaks down. This looks very rich at 27.10, just from different aspects. You're getting a vol expansion. You're getting a Bollinger Band to expand, but I just think it's very, very common, like what it's doing back in March. I think it's going to be close to the 200-day, maybe another day or two, because considering I had a surge and a nice candle today. But ultimately, I think this does go lower. But it could be next month. It might not have to be next week, especially if the market continues to go higher. Then they're going to swarm into rotations like this. So this was the best performer this past week. I don't want to get steamrolled to pick up a penny, right? The KRE, the second best performer all week. Rocco, don't scratch at the door. I'm performing. I'm doing a program. So this little carrot here shows that this is a new 52-week high. Pretty impressive. How many things can you say that about? Financials look great. Small cap of them, mid cap. The big caps are taking a little bit of a break across the board. So it's not just NVIDIA trading under 120. JP Morgan's also not hitting new 52-week highs right now. It's the rotating into different assets. That just tells me my friend JC said it super well. I'll actually be on his morning show, and I'll promote that in a little bit. But he said, you're telling me that the best stocks today aren't the best stocks that, from the same list 3 months ago? That's a good thing. They were going to get back into semiconductors. They're not liquidating it. That's a great thing that there is a broadening. It was never just about 7 stocks. It might have held it down for a while. That's your LeBron, your Currys. But at the end of the day, you need a bench, and now the bench is performing. So all that being said, let me pull up the KRA. Don't want to short it or anything, but let me see. It just looks a little bit overdone. You got to let some averages catch up. Remember, going back to like KRA and the IWM, this thing looks great. What happened when we got to an 81 RSI, in the market? We had a big pullback. The runner can't just, when you do high intensity interval training, when you really go nuts and you go with a crazy workout, you take a longer break. You're taking like 60 seconds in between reps instead of 30. You're taking a longer break, similar to this. So that's what I kind of see in small caps, or I'm hoping. But there is a catch-up trade there. I know it sounds like I'm sending missed messages, but that's the market. Carry looks like a beautiful breakout above 54.5. If you just set up an alert and you said I want to buy, essentially the top after it breaks out of its December 14th high, it did that July 16th, and now you're up additional 10% just on that breakout strat. So nice. I just don't think trees grow to the sky, and this will go down to 54 at some point. It might feel like it's pain, or it's just because it's frothy. It's just because it's hitting new highs almost every day. Okay, I don't take a breath when I do this stuff. CAF. So this is small cap. It just registered a multiple sigma I'm sorry, it just has more gains than IWM this week. So let me pull up a trade on this, or a chart rather. I mean, yeah, this is hitting like upside resistance. I don't, really like love that. It probably wants to take this out, but that's a little bit away. I think this wants to go down to like 46. Nice rising 200-day moving average. So similar to what I said before, kind of like the poser thing. This lived above its 200-day for a long time, right? So basically from November all the way to June, long time. And then what happened? It breaks down officially here, June 13th, and it recoups it July 16th. So we're talking right around that again, that 4-week spook, just like a fake out, and then it resumes its winning ways. I think this wants to go back. I don't think it technically breaks down under the 200-day moving average, but I do think it's got a day in the cards there with 45.60, which is its support. Let's go to home builders. This is extraordinary. Home builders hit a new all-time high today. So the regional banks I was talking about was a 52-week high. This home builders up 3.33% today to new all-time highs. You saw the list, Pulte Group, all-time high, Lennar, Tri-Point Homes, KB Homes. If they're making homes, they're all-time highs. And there's a lot of different reasons for this. Home construction is also doing super well, but if the Fed cuts rates, there's a ton more people that are saying, oh, you know what, it's not going to cost me X to get a mortgage. So these guys technically have more business to do. There is this candle here, new all-time highs. What do I see? Just a little bit overdone, but the momentum is with it. I think this wants to go to about 107, around there, 107, 108. So maybe an $8 give back. Again, might hurt when you see it. Like home builders down 3%. The trend is over. No, it's just frothy AF. And also, I see a little bit of a bearish divergence. You have a new price high here, but I'm not seeing it in the RSI. We're not even scratching above 70. So I don't love that. So it's a little bit of a bearish divergence telling me there is a reversal coming. Don't know if it's going to be in 12 hours. Don't know if it's going to be in 12 days. But should have had at least more than that RSI that I'm showing here, which is 75. So that's a little bit different. It's below that. So I see this going lower. This is similar to what happened to semiconductors when the SMH had a new high. And I'll pull that up soon, actually. You'll see what I mean. All right, and then insurance. Insurance used to be such a staple of like the market, and then it got ignored for a while. And then it hit new highs just July 18th, just 8 days ago. And today, a big surge. Let me take a look at this. Obviously, this is related, correlated to the financials, and this is in different caps. This is going to be your Travelers, Progressive, so on and so forth. It is having, as you can see here, a relative strength breakout. Rocco's just scratching and clawing his way. I don't think he likes what I'm saying. Rocco, come here. No cares. A beautiful rising 200-day. Even when you had this sell-off, it never bucked. So this is great. I used to play this a while ago, and I used to play Travelers specifically in Progressive and MetLife. Okay, now what? This just looks a little bit overdone. I don't love buying stuff like when it's above the upper band here. It looks like it might have another day in it, so it does take out that high and get in bed with the regional banks taking out the new highs, which is 53.39. It's pretty close. Basically, almost did it today. 14 cents away, so it's nothing. So that could have in the cards, but after that, I do think it wants to settle around 51 even. So you'd see a $2 decline or a 3% decline in that. All right, top five. So insurance was the fifth best gainer of the week, up 3.5%. The best was ARCJ. All right, top five losers of the past 5 days, no repeats. Nat Gas, this is very interesting. New 52-week low today. We were talking about this. I said, could it not? Maybe. It's such a loser, and it's like such a winning-losing trade. What I mean by that is it's just a perennial, it seems now, as a short. It's just a great thing to short. I used to roll put spreads continuously on this, and now you know why. I'm looking at doing it again, but it's a little bit overstretched. Oh, my God. So you're not coming back yet. Go. Silly dog. We're live. We'll do it live. I'll write it. We'll do it live. Bill O'Reilly. All right. So Nat Gas, this is just way overdone. Like I'm not going to sell them in the hole here. If you can get a move to its 21 exponential moving average, which is 15.5, that would be much better. Unfortunately, that just seems a little bit tough. I mean, the best opportunity you had was on the 22nd. 4 days ago when it was at 15.20. What a move. That's 5.5%. So here, I'm not going to do it, but 52-week lows, I think, yikes. This Yeah, same thing. So there's kind of like a bullish divergence in a way. So new lows, you should have had a lower RSI. The RSI here, when you had these lows, was 27, and today we have 32. So they're actually off by 5, same as the other ticker. The home builders is off by 5. So as I said, I see kind of divergences in both, which would mean that gas has a small mean reversion towards the 15 handle. But I think that's going to take a lot of time, not 2 to 3 weeks. I think it might take like maybe 4 to 6 weeks. All right, silver. So nat gas was the biggest loser, just momentum to the downside on that. I don't want to call the bottom for that. Longer term, I think it's going lower, but yeah, going to be trending sideways to there. Silver. So silver, the second biggest loser, down 5% in the past week. Let's see. Interesting charts. A lot of these are extremes. Like nat gases, I still believe in the trajectory lower, but it's too low as it is. So you see some chop upwards and then oscillating lower. Here for silver, so I think this is bottomed. I think this is a good level if you're looking to get long this, and it does have a nice rise in 200-day moving average. The high was, exactly 9 weeks ago. I think this has good support at 25.75. It bucked it today by 1%. I think you get a nice bounce on this. Commodities move. I think this is going to go towards 27. You can, at me when this is up 5% a day next week, because this is how silver moves. I think you're going to get a pop to 27. It's interesting with it juxtaposed against, oil, being getting hit hard today, and the basket getting hit hard today. But silver particularly, I mean, today was up 1/3%, so kind of flat. But this doesn't look too bad. If you're looking for a commodities trade, if things line up, I think this has a move towards 27 in the cards, which is $1.50. Nice move. All right, DXJ, the third biggest mover, lower this week, which is basically the Japan ETF. There's crazy moves with the yen. Let's take a look at this chart. So DXJ, this one is hot as well. This topped just July 10th, so 16 days ago. This looks like it's got good support right around 110. I would like to participate here. So around here, 109, 110. Let me see here. Yeah, I think this is going to go towards 113. I think you got a nice like $4 move coming. So that's like a 3-4% move. That's nice. Also like seeing a little bit of the non-domestic bias participation in that they're buying the UK today. They're buying France. This has currency moves associated. So I think this could be a move as well. So different trades. That's what I'm talking about. The rotation. I mean, we usually don't say, buy buy silver for a trade. You can buy Japan. That's good stuff. It's not just buy semis, buy Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So you're seeing a broadening. Mexico, the fourth biggest loser this week in the market. Let's take a look at this because we had this highlighted about a week or two ago, and I had said this needs time. Let's see what it does. So I think this might have a little bit more downside, not a ton, probably just a 55.5, so another dollar or so. It was up 1/5% today. I think this potentially goes to 55.50, right around here, and then going towards 59, right around 58.75, right around here, 59. And that 200-day moving average looks heavy at 63.5. This looks like a brick wall that Mexico just cannot recover from since their elections on June 3rd when they had their election. Yeah, so it had all this muscle, all this work, right, from 55 to 62, a heavy move. And what happened? Gave it all back. 62 to 57, not super convincing in terms of, is this a durable move? So for now, range bound with that huge volatility between 55 and its 200 moving average at 63. All that being said, as I said, I think this has a support at 55, 56, and I do think it mean reverts to 58. So if you're looking for a contrarian trade, broadening, this could be one, but I'm not going to, chase this. And then SMH, the king, the darling, what moves the markets essentially. SMH, the fifth biggest loser this week, but it's down 3 1/3%. Look what it did today, up 1.6 to recoup it. Beautiful rising 200-day. Can't stop, won't stop. People say there's AI fatigue. Yeah, potentially, but there's broadening happening, okay? It is a little bit surprising to see as weak as it is below, I'm talking specifically this red line is kind of surprising. That's the 50-day moving average. So just interesting to see it buck that. All that being said, I like the support around this 240 level. Yeah, I think you're going to, when they buy this, they buy it in droves. This will go up like 6% in 2 days. So today was up 1.6. I think you're going to move towards 258 over the next 2 to 3 weeks in this. So that's $18. So what is that, like 6%? Yeah. So maybe it takes longer than, I was half joking with 2-day move, but I do think you get a nice swing in this over the next 2 to 3 weeks towards 258, and then ultimately towards 282 and new highs. All right, or coming very close within it in the month of August. Okay, best three absolute trades of the past 5 days. No repeats. We already did it. So long ARKG, long KRE, short UNG. If you were in those this week, congratulations. They're the best trades of the week. And now I think we actually highlighted all of these. So I just want to go to the screen share of the sheets again and prove this. Boopity boopity bop. Where is it here? My notes. So this is just pretty extraordinary because these trends endure. Okay, they persist and they are just meaningful. So the best 5 absolute trades of the past 2 weeks. What I mean by that is long or short. Okay, so long GBTC is the absolute best trade in the market, and this is going back since last July to today, up 213%. Can't get out of there, and that's why I still have market orders for IBIT below the market here. So I'm not exiting that trade, nor do I think you should. I think Bitto's in a weird spot where I wouldn't chase it right here. Yeah, so I'm not going to chart it right now, but I wouldn't chase GBTC and Bitcoin right here, although it could have momentum this weekend. You saw the Ethereum ETF get approved. It went down initially, and then it had a nice day today. I think the Bitcoin Nashville conference is over. I'm not sure if Trump spoke already or whatever, or it's ongoing, but those catalysts are, becoming in the rear view. Second best trade in the entire marketplace over the past year, the SMH of 55%. Okay, so obviously a lot of that's NVIDIA, remarkable. Third best trade in the market, short nat gas, minus 53%. Okay, and then short volatility, minus 48%. This is specifically through the VXX. And then the fifth best trade in the market, long home builders, 40%. And yes, a lot of this has come, not a lot of this, 4% of it has come in the past week, but it's up 40%. So that is a persisting trend as well. So don't shake a stick at that. Monday morning, I will be on the All-Star Charts morning show on YouTube. So I'll try and put a link, probably first thing Monday morning for that. And also have an interview with Business Insider. Actually, also after that, I'll post a link. I'm going to talk about a lot of these trends that are persisting to stay long, even in volatility. And I think that is it. Yeah, and then we'll be doing more for the CMT. I'm leading a webinar in September, and I'll also be their writer of the week in the third week of. So more to come on that. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy the great weather. Go to the beach. Go see Deadpool Wolverine, because I will be probably next week. And peace.